Hey guys, it's Spacey Sins, and we are back with more Virche Evermore, continuing Lucas's route, and we are still in chapter 3, so we got like a whole chapter of trauma left, and like, goddamn, it's a ride, because they make this feel like so final, like this is it, this is where he dies, but there's so much left undone, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like we gotta break Nadia out, and then the tragic ending is gonna be they die together. Or we die trying to get her away from Capucine. I don't know. I just feel this felt so like final in the last episode, like, oh my god, he's basically on the verge of death and giving up and everything, and it's like, but there's no way it's happening, and I don't think he would give up with Nadia, like, basically kidnapped from him, you know? So, like, I could only imagine this going even more downhill. Oh, dear God. So, anyway. I somehow had Lucas break the lock on the cage. I then went into storage to retrieve the nutritional drip he had and helped administer it to him. Of course, it wouldn't be enough to stop the curse, but Lucas had been doing his purification rituals for days without food or drink, so eating solids now might stress his body. How do you feel? Much better than earlier. After drinking so much water, I feel that the drug he injected is thinned out a bit. But not completely. I've been injected with it so frequently that I'm sure it's built up in my system. To be honest, I can't seem to forget the warped teachings that the minister planted in my mind. I don't want to kill any more relivers, but just thinking about them triggers me into feeling hate and disgust. And I guess we'll need to make sure you don't see them. What are you planning to do now, Lucas? Don't tell me you're going to continue following Capucine's orders. I won't, but I'm thinking about infiltrating the hospital so that I can see Nadia. After all, it's not very reassuring to have her be with the minister after seeing his true personality. See, I guess we'll need to talk a bit more about what to do. We should prioritize confirming Nadia's safety and find a way to make amends. Is that even possible? I'm sure it's possible. I bet Nadia's waiting for you. We can apologize to her together. We will infiltrate the hospital, kill Capucine, and take fucking Nadia. Like, you don't want to kill relivers. She's gonna end up dead. Like, what hi. This, either way is awful, you know? You can tell her your complaints then and show her your weak side, too. We've both hidden too many things despite being a family. Yes, right. I told her and my students to rely on others, yet I didn't follow my own teachings. But why do you need to apologize? And said we're a family. Didn't he get it? Oh, are we getting a CG? Oh, is it going to be beautiful? Oh, okay. Well, okay, we flash back to the kiss CG. What? I hate it when it goes to a white screen because I get excited and then it's like, I mean, it's still a CG, but it's a flashback, you know? I love you, Spacey. Please, will you marry me? If I'm to choose a partner to stay with until the end, I want that person to be you. The memories from back then returned, though this time I felt no fear. He must have gone mad from the effects of brainwashing over a long period of time. Still, it didn't change the importance of his meaning. That's a strange thing to say. You asked for my hand in marriage. So why don't you see me as part of your family? Oh, look at his awkward little blush. Despite being covered in blood, Lucas tried to hide his blushing with his hands, but it was too late. Even his ears were flushed red. Kinda like it. I mean, I kinda like it. No, I'm fucking dying over here. But it's more adorable because he's like a serial killer who brutally stabs people and rips out their hearts, and then he's over here, like, being this awkward blushing mess. And the juxtaposition is just too much for my heart to handle. I don't know why I find it 10 times cuter than otherwise, but I do. And that's kind of fucked up. This is what Otome games have done to us. It had been a long time since I stepped outside at night. The first thing that had to be done was to confirm Nadia's condition and apologize. Lucas needed to disregard Capucine's orders and see Nadia before his life came to an end. We therefore decided to infiltrate the hospital in secret. The guards were patrolling the area, but they didn't mean a thing to Lucas. He carried me in his arms and jumped across the roofs of the buildings in Coen, landing in a secluded part of the garden. We slowly moved near the window to the hallway. That would have been an amazing CG, just him leaping through the air with you in his arms, and you're like, okay, this is an interesting ride. Huh. He broke through a part of the glass with his dagger to unlock the window from the inside. Breaking and entering, is that something a good boy would do? I think with you by my side, I can be as bad as I want. Well, promises, sir. I took his hand and he lifted me inside the hospital. We made our way through in silence, but it didn't take us very long to arrive in front of our destination. Have you decided what to tell Nadia first? Of course. I'm going to explain that Capucine has taken her hostage, minus the horrific details. Sounds good. We both smiled at each other before slowly opening the door. She ain't there. Nadia would usually be sleeping at this hour, but... Oh, nope, she is.
Brother? In Spacey? Thank goodness. You haven't come to visit recently, so I thought you were angry about what happened.
The resident of this room was awake and greeted us with a gentle smile. We both headed toward the bed where Nadia was sitting as usual. Nadia, I need to apologize to you for being so rude and dishonest back then, despite your concerns. I finally awakened thanks to Spacey staying by my side. There are so many things I need to talk to you about. It may even take a few days. I'll probably show a pathetic side of me. But will you listen?
Yes, of course. I'm not angry, so please don't worry.
Not angry? Not at all?
Yes, I'm sure you have a few secrets you can't tell me. But I tried to get you to tell me anyway. I was really selfish, wasn't I?
Nadia easily made peace with Lucas, who was anxious about their reconciliation. What a relief. The sins he committed, Capucine, Nadia's cure, and more, the issues were far from being resolved, but at least this was one less thing for... Are you? Huh?
What are you saying? It's me, Nadia. I'm your one and only younger sister.
Seeing him go pale, Nadia looked up with a bewildered expression. Oh, interesting. No, you're not her. Lucas quickly grabbed Nadia's arm and rolled up her sleeve. Wasn't that... Huh? There on her arm was a beautiful mark that resembled a blooming flower. Has she been a reliver this whole time? Well, wouldn't she always have the same mark in the same spot? Mark of a reliver? What? This doesn't make sense. Lucas, isn't Nadia a human just like you? His body began to shake. Suddenly the door opened and in came a doctor with a single document in hand. Are you Lucas Proust? Your younger sister Nadia is Dr. Capucine's grantor of her pledge. She refused treatment to stay human, so upon her death we revived her as a reliver. What? The doctor forced the document into Lucas's hands as he stood there in shock. Many of our patients change their minds and seek to become relivers to avoid death. Oh, Capucine did that, controlling her somehow. Ooh. So we have the pledges and equipment ready to fulfill their wishes at any time. In the signature box was her name, signed in an unusual fashion. You were telling me she signed this? That's impossible. You're lying. And they did it in-house. It's not like they went to Cyan. Where did you take the real Nadia? He tried to grab the doctor, but Nadia tugged on his clothes from the bed.
Brother, I'm right here.
Her calling him brother definitely didn't sound the way it once did. The girl in front of us sounded like she was simply reading a document that explained their relationship. Oh, this is worse than watching her die because, she's there, but she's not really. She doesn't have all the emotion she did? A reliver who lost her love for her brother. His eyes went dull. No, you're not Nadia. Oh god, is he gonna kill her? Oh god, oh no, Lucas, don't put it away! Put it away! Oro shook off her small hand and drew his dagger. Oh no. Oh. So, like, here's the thing. If you signed up to be a reliver, right, somebody would have to bring your dead body to science lab and be like, here's this person's body, and then he would bring you back whatever, and they dispose of your body. Okay. They did not do that in this case. Capucine did the experiments. He's got the equipment downstairs, whatever. So, like, I'm just throwing this out there because I wonder if anybody else was like, you think the real Nadia is actually not dead and Capucine made a clone to put her here to fool Lucas, or knowing that Lucas would figure out that she's not real, kill her, and then whatever, and then Capucine's actually still has the real Nadia and is like, oh, your brother never came back. He must have died. I'm so sorry. And, like, she's now locked in some basement room because he's like a psycho. We're going to find out she's not really dead. Because, like, what would be worse than what's going to happen here? That Lucas murders his sister. Yeah, in his mind, we know he's been brainwashed. She's not his sister. She's a demon. Whatever, okay? That's part of his brainwashing and whatever. But also, I think a little bit of trauma that his sister's dead and is now a reliver and, like, whatever. Okay. So it would just be traumatic for him because internally he doesn't want to kill relivers. He's just been kind of programmed to do it. But then to know that he can't stop himself from killing his sister. You know what I mean? And fighting in this internal battle of, like, I don't like relivers, but it's my sister. But I just killed a demon, but it was my sister. But, like, you know what I mean? Like, what part of the hating relivers is programming and what part of it is just, I just don't like relivers. And you know what I mean? But it's still your sister, but it's not, like, you know that internal battle is going to be happening and then he just murdered her, you know, even though, like, that's traumatic. But what would be worse is him dealing and battling this internally, like he just killed his sister or whatever, and then knowing that she's not actually fucking dead, really, and he's battling this issue till he dies, but she was never actually dead anywhere. They just created a clone body to fuck with him. Fuck! Brilliant. Anyway. No, Lucas! Before I could stop him. How dare you speak to me with that face and voice of yours? Oh, no, he really did. Okay. I was, like, wondering, though, I'm like, are we gonna stop him? Nope. Purifying blades slice the air. Okay, here we go, chapter 4. Again, I don't know if he's got 4 or 5. It said most of them have 4 or 5, but the man harbored both an angel and a demon inside his body. I'm assuming we're probably on go, but whatever. God constantly sent him through trials to test his faith. The angel pitied him, saying he was a poor human. The demon laughed at him, saying he was but a foolish human. The man then killed the angel who pitied him and accepted the demon, saying to him, yes, I am a foolish man. Never forget that. Demon, you're proof of the terrible sins this foolish soul has committed. Lucas? Red tears flowed from the eyes of the doll Nadia always kept by her side. Lucas breathed heavily. On the bed was a victim who died in a manner far different from his purification rituals. An existence that may or may not be called Nadia lay on the bed, covered in red. Blood dripped from her flesh and onto the floor. Thanks for the vivid picture, game. I did not need it. Suddenly, Lucas's dull eyes regained their light. Oh, and that's the worst, because Capucine drugged him, so even though he's always been programmed, he's more heavily influenced because of the recent drugging. No. What have I... Lucas, make him drop his weapon or support him. I feel like making him drop his weapon is probably, like, Just support him. We love him. We're his family. We just had that conversation. Jesus Christ! How many bad endings do you have, motherfucker? This is our 5th save file for him. Jesus, Lucas! Holy fuck! I don't think I can handle these bad endings. I feel like if we try to make him drop his weapon, he's going to stab us and we're going to die. So I'm still going with support him, and that is the right ending. Okay. I mean, that's the right choice. I scrolled up too far, and I saw that, okay, that's the last choice we have. So he's only got 5 bad endings. Okay. I quickly held him up as he began to stumble. You need to pray for her now. Yes, you're right. I don't have the right to grieve. He slowly lowered his arm with the dagger in hand. You do have the right to grieve for your actual sister. But she's not really dead, so. He'd shouted so much he didn't want to kill anyone anymore. He'd shouted so much that he didn't want to kill anyone anymore, but regarding the reliver in front of him, the person who looked like his younger sister, I feel like that's going to be, like, even though it's going to be hard to fight killing relivers, this was never a battle he was going to win. You know what I mean? Because this is not just triggering his hate for relivers, it's also triggering, like, something in it for, like, his sister being a reliver. It's a whole separate thing. It's an extension of, you know what I mean? But it's going to be worse, so. He was distraught over killing her without any hesitation. I grabbed the collar of the doctor who showed us the pledge on Lucas's behalf. Where did you take Nadia? Like I said, she became a reliver as the Liar! There's no way a person who kept true to her feelings would decide to become a reliver in such a short span of time. Even if she did, she would never have done so without contacting Lucas. I see that this isn't enough to fool you two. The man had a small transmitter attached to his white coat, and what came through it was a familiar voice. Capucine, I was wondering how you were able to break through the brainwashing to infiltrate the hospital. It must have been you, Spacey. I must say the power of love is indeed terrible and fearsome. Things would have ended more satisfactorily if you died from the curse. His hateful words were being directed not at me, but Lucas. Fine. I should reward you for your efforts. I will allow you to see the real Nadia. I told you she wasn't fucking dead! Capucine's a psycho! Of course he wasn't. He was like, yeah, here you go, fake Nadia, and I've got the real one. Oh! Creep. Knew it. Nadia's alive. Of course she is. She's resting comfortably in my personal laboratory. I will invite you here, so take the transmitter for him and follow my instructions. The man emotionlessly handed the transmitter to Lucas. He took it and latched it onto his clothes. It was risky to trust him like this, but we wouldn't know where he took Nadia unless we followed his instructions. Which meant we had no other choice. Spacey, you stay. I'm going to. But I appreciate your concern. But even if I didn't go, I might be abducted by someone here since the hospital's managed by the Society. More importantly, I came here to see Nadia. I have no intention of leaving until I can confirm she's safe. He must have known that I wouldn't bend, no matter what he said. And promise me you won't do anything rash. If push comes to shove, leave me behind and run. He spoke sternly, and then... Oh my god, are you gonna kiss me? I'm sorry. You're genetically my younger sister, but still... I'm a pathetic person, unable to fight the drug inside me. He covered the body of reliver Nadia with the bedsheets and offered a prayer of repentance. Well, yeah, if you hadn't killed her, then Nadia could have had a twin sister. Would have sucked because they're suffering together, but you know, she would have had a friend in bed with her, you know, like, look, it's like me, but not me. We just gave her a twin. Cool. Lucas then held my hand. We headed through the hospital with just our footsteps making any sound. This was the second time I was at the Society's true base of operations. But what I saw was much different from what I could recall before. No one's here. And the relivers used for his experiments are gone. I was able to avoid seeing the horrors of the experiments, but the silence was even eerier. I keep going straight. I go to where she was held captive that day. There's a light that's brighter than the others, and knock the wall to the right of that light 3 times. We followed the instructions given through the transmitter, and Lucas knocked on the wall. Suddenly, a rectangular outline appeared. Never knew a hidden passage existed. It seemed even the closest to Capucine were unaware of the hidden route leading deep into the facility. I don't think you need my instructions any longer. Nadia's waiting to see her dear brother. Transmission from Capucine suddenly came to an end. It seemed like he had no intention of talking to us again until we arrived. Beyond the door was a dark passage with no end in sight. Lucas walked through the passage ahead of me, and soon we ended up in front of an old door. Lucas took a breath and put his hand against the door. He slowly opened it and stepped into the deepest part of the Society's secret base. Okay, I was like, this place is pretty swanky, and then I see, the dolls kind of sitting on the railing and by the bed, and it's slightly disturbing. And there's cages. And there's another doll over. Oh, there's 2 on the railings up on the top floor. There's 1 in that cage. There's 1 by the bed. It's getting a little more don't look. It gets a little more disturbing when you look at it. Light shone into our vision. Inside the well-kept room were a number of medicines organized into multiple cabinets. My eyes caught sight of the pale dolls that could be found everywhere I looked. Yeah, that's creepy. They stared at us in silence. What is this place? What I saw at their facility was much worse, but this room was incredibly unsettling. Yeah, it's the dolls that unsettle me too, girl. High five, I'm here for that. Just agreeing that that's unsettling. I looked around to see why, but found nothing. The devices I saw here looked similar to what was used in the other facility. Look at him in a totally different little white lab outfit. He is disturbing as fuck, but he's pretty. I can't... bravo to this game for making the villains pretty. I didn't expect Jean to be a villain, okay? I was like, no, what are we doing? That was devastating. Capucine kind of seemed like a douche from the beginning, and you were like, yeah, no, you're probably always going to be I fully expected him to be a douche, okay? You knew he kind of just had that haughty little attitude, especially that one sprite. That one sprite is that's right there, your whole personality. You're just a bitch, okay? And not in the Cyan way of being a bitch, where it's, cute and entertaining and, whatever. You are just a shady bitch. Okay, but he's still fucking pretty. Okay, so I'm just really happy they make the villains pretty, because sometimes they do, and you're like, well, you're definitely a villain because they made you look like one. No, this one they're all kind of unassuming, and everyone's just really pretty, and then they're all fucked up in some way. I'm here for it. Welcome to my prized laboratory. No, my museum. You're the only ones I've ever invited here, apart from my supporter. I welcome you from the bottom of my heart. Lucas stepped forward with his guard up as blood dripped from his body. Capucine. So, you're not going to call me minister anymore? Look at his face. Look at his sad face. Oh, so upset. Too bad. I always saw you as my younger brother, too. I blindly trusted you and the previous minister like we were family. But now that I know what you people have been doing to Nadia all this time, I can't offer my service to you any longer. Now where's Nadia? If you don't answer me, then... Lucas clenched his fist with power and intimidated Capucine with his words. Oh, how scary. It would be troublesome to be destroyed now. You see, my body's rather unique. It takes some time and effort to create a new one. A new body? I wondered if that meant he created new bodies for himself in the past. I'm wondering if, are you the old minister? And you're just in a new body? You know what I mean? Because normally, when you become a reliver, it's basically your body. It's just a clone body. But you look exactly the same. But now I'm, wondering, is Capucine, somebody who's been around, but he's in a different body? He's like, oh, no, you remember me as this person before. Different face. It almost sounded as if... Capucine, don't tell me... You're the leader of the Society of Exorcists, but you're a reliver? Yes, I've been working as the minister for roughly 40 years now. He nonchalantly answered my question that would shake the foundation of his teachings. Possible. That can't be true. The minister of the society's named someone to become the next minister before they die. To add, you don't look at all similar to the previous minister. Previous? I believe he was... I finally found you! Lucas Proust, I presume. She's putting a different voice on. Look, we gotta try to remember to come back to this scene where we do the voice acting. I'm gonna forget. Don't you worry. You can come with us. I believe this was his voice. It feels like only yesterday when I found you. We were both about to catch a cold that night. What? Like, okay, I'm not gonna lie, though. Like, you've gotta hand it to Capucine for being able to be like, oh yeah, no, I'm a reliver in a totally different fucking body, and Cyan could have figured this shit out, but he didn't. Like, Capucine's figured out shit that Cyan's like, no, you can't do that. And it's like, yes, you can! You just don't want to try! What did I tell you? He's a lazy bitch. I love him, but he's goddamn lazy. Or it's one of those, no, there are reasons you should not. Look, we could do it, but you should not, so we don't. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. You know? But you clearly can. But maybe it makes you a lunatic, because Capucine's a little crazy. So. Those words of salvation were spoken by the previous minister to bring Lucas to the society. But the current minister was saying it in the same voice as the previous minister. Lucas stared in shock. This is amazing. They get so many twists in this that's so good. But I thought it was impossible to create relivers with different appearances. And to be precise, creating relivers with different features is prohibited due to bugs. And technically, creating one is possible. What that means is the Dr. Capucine you know is merely an alias. My real name is Orty. You know, when Cyan and fucking Dahut mentioned Orty, who is that crazy bitch? Orty, oh yeah, that guy. I was like, he's gonna come up later, isn't he? Alright. You knew it. You like, Orty's gonna have to come up. He's got a name. He's gonna come up somewhere. Here you go. This crazy motherfucker. Wait, did they say Orty created this society? No, I don't think they said that. Did they? They were like, he was crazy and like trying to do crazy experiments or whatever. I guess we should have. Yeah, he was trying to do crazy experiments. I remember that. But I remember them giving a name because I was like, he's got a name. So like he coming back up into the story at some point. But I don't remember if they said that he created this. Because I thought the Society of Exorcists was actually created by a woman. And then... So I don't know if they said he worked with them or not. I can't remember. But anyway, here we go. That arrogant man drove me to my lowest point. I'm the only one in this world who loves and appreciates genes. You know what? I am really surprised. Because obviously knowing who Capucine really is, so fucking good. Twists in this game are amazing. God, this game's gonna kill me, but I love it so much. I'm gonna like suffer happily. You're gonna suffer, but you're gonna be happy about it. Yeah, those are all of our tea leaves from Harry Potter right now. But like I'm really surprised then that he has not put Dahut or Cyan on the to kill list. Maybe that would have been too obvious. But, like, he's always giving Lucas a name of relivers. Oh, God has said you gotta kill these people. I'm surprised he hasn't put them on there then. Because they were basically like, this crazy asshole, and kicked him. You know what I mean? Like... And he obviously right then was like, no. I wonder, do we get to see him, like, what he looked like before? We get to be Capucine now! Woo! I mean, I guess technically, because we got to be Jean / Camille, so... This is a story of a man so fascinated by the art found within the human body. I was born into a family of farmers in Coen, with an appearance much different from now. When I was young, my parents passed away from the curse at 23 because they didn't have the money to become relivers. Fortunately for me, I was much more intelligent than the other children my age. So I was allowed admission to a special school where the children were trained to work one day as researchers at the Institute. Researchers were given special treatment in this country, given priority to the process of becoming relivers. I majored in genetics, the most difficult and important subject, to earn the money and status to gain the right to become a reliver. I studied day after day, staring at the phantasmal genes depicted in my textbooks. My efforts were rewarded. Yeah, okay, read that right. I don't know why I just felt like my efforts were rewarded, like, mumbled that? I don't know. I was invited to join the Institute and given the means to escape from the curse of death through reliver technology. Since then, I plan to achieve enough results there for me to live a decent life as a reliver, but it was then I saw for the first time real genes that weren't just a diagram in a textbook. The double helix containing a wealth of information to create life was so beautiful. I love how he's obsessed with the gene sequence. Yeah, that's a nerd right there. Truly amazing. Truly amazing. Give a different voice. I trembled before it, moved to tears. Yes, it was at that very moment. I was completely captivated by the mystery and majesty of human genes. From then on, my life changed. My parched soul was finally nourished, and I did everything to keep them by my side. I spent days and nights on my research. See, okay, here's the thing. You're crazy. But, like, at the same time, his crazy is, like, probably a good thing for Nadia. Sorta. In the, I want to figure out how to... I'm so obsessed with genes and figuring out, like, he could probably, with his obsession, figure out a way to fix her gene sequence. You know what I mean? But he's a psycho, so, like, that's making it problematic. But, you know, the potential is there. He just veered off into the left lane, okay? Before long, I rose through the ranks and was allowed to conduct my own research. I then focused on a particular subject. I was mesmerized by women who possessed a unique ailment that others didn't. Ah, they're so beautiful. We're supposed to be the same, yet just a slight variation in the genetic code can make genes this beautiful. But it's excruciating to know that my beloved genes must perish every 23 years. There must be a way to protect the genes forever. After extensive thought, I came up with the idea of creating a new breed of human. Oh, right, they said he was experimenting in, like, in all the things he did to Oh! All the things he did to children. Oh, no! I used technology to my advantage. I edited and combined multiple genes, modifying my creation so they could endure the curse. Right, I forgot that part. I was like, he was doing weird experiments, right? He was experimenting, and they're like, you don't even want to know what the fuck we saw. Oh, right! Oh, right. They don't know what happened to him because Cyan was like, I turned him over to the Royal Guard, and I have no idea what fucking happened to him after that. Like, he turned him over, and then Capucine was just set free at the Society of Exorcists? Someone. Somehow. Okay, we're gonna find that out, but okay, alright. So they have no idea. They think he's dead, basically. Okay. I edited and combined multiple genes, modifying my creation so they could... Oh, I read that. Okay. Right. I then altered the life I created into a vessel that would contain my precious genes. Eureka! The original genes I modified did experience some after effects, but it was nothing in comparison to their preservation. But then... Enjoy your hobbies somewhere else. He dismissed my work like it was nothing. The man was seen as a god, loved by the heavens, as a true genius. Yeah, I mean, but have you seen how hot he is? That's why. That man was the oldest reliver in this country's savior, Cyan Brophy was. And the Institute is dedicated to researching genes to extend human life. I have no use for foolish experiments that create fake humans simply for the sake of genes. Now let me add, and this precious research of yours that took you years to complete. I constructed the roadmap for a similar idea within a week, but tossed it out as something useless. Cyan is not only like, your research is stupid, is like, I figured it out a week ago, but then I realized how stupid it was. You spent years coming up with stupid. Cyan is such a fucking bitch. I love it. It's not like, whoa, what you're doing is fucked up. He's like, your ideas are stupid. I came up with them within a week, and I realized they were stupid and it took you years. They're still stupid. Like, not, it's a little inhumane what you're fucking doing. You're stupid. Cyan is so full of himself. I love it. What humiliation. The ideal I sought wasn't even a stepping stool for the genius loved by God. And years later, someone found value in my work. I would like to support your research. I've assumed it was the woman who started the thing. I don't know. I would rather support your ambitions than help Cyan Brophies with his eternal loop of stagnation. A researcher at the Institute contacted me to offer support. Oh, it's someone else. With this cooperation, I abducted humans and relivers from the slums to use as test subjects for my experiments. I don't know why he turned into Cyan right there. My brain got a little confused, but whatever. But my activities were discovered and reported to Cyan Brophies by that crafty little boy who became his confidant. I was kicked out of the Institute and sentenced to death. But my supporter pulled strings to help me escape before my execution. I successfully hid myself among the recently established Society of Exorcists. So were we ever going to find out who his supporter is? He didn't conduct his research on human genes to save humans. He was trying to protect the genes he liked and use humans for his mad experiments. If only he was executed back then. Did we switch back to us at some point? Oh, I guess we did. Because that sounds like it should have been us. He didn't conduct his research on human Okay, I don't know. I don't know where we are now. Anyway. Capucine ignored Lucas's mutterings and continued. Okay, we must have switched back and I totally missed it. Oh no, okay. I don't know. We're in the middle of a monologue and then we cut to us and now we're back to the monologue. That was weird. I don't think we've ever done that before, but anyway. Our founder led a group of researchers to conduct their research from a different angle to find the reason behind our short lives. We might not have everything we need right now, but if we took over this place, then I could restart my research. I immediately put my idea into action. Only research as far as humane to do so. No matter how difficult your work may become, do not involve others in a matter that goes against humanity. Pathetic. So pathetic that I killed our idealistic founder in a way that made it look as though she died from some disease. I then became the next minister as a real human. I deceived the followers and sometimes used drugs to brainwash them into preaching about the dangers of relivers. The perfect hideout was constructed. No one would expect a reliver-hating organization to create relivers for use in their experiments. But then a problem arose. Turning the organization into an anti-reliver group required me to change my identity. After all, my appearance and age were fixed as a reliver, which would cause unnecessary commotion among the followers. So I used the experimental records that the founder left behind. Reading her notes surprised me beyond belief. It seems she herself had reasons to hide her true identity, which was that she was actually a reliver. This is amazing! Like, the hypocrisy is great! I assumed it was because, like me, she was a criminal on the run. She discovered a way to change the appearance of relivers while minimizing the risk associated with such modifications. She wrote, "It is possible to change one's appearance at the risk of creating clones with bugs and damage to its functions and memory bank. The backup data contained a person's genes. So what she did was keep 99% of the genetic data as is, and then change the remaining 1% by replacing the genes with someone else's. By doing so, she was able to successfully create a clone possessing a different hair color and facial features. I immediately put her work into action. I timed myself so that I could die at the right time to prevent suspicion that I was a reliver. I then created different clones, using them to become the next generation of ministers. I made it look like I was passing the torch to the next minister, but I remained its head. I doubt I need to explain the rest. I used the devout believers and sometimes fanatical followers as cover. So isn't it weird, though, that you're like, I am naming Capucine as my, successor, and they're all like, who the fuck is that? Like, because you can't be two people at once, you know what I mean? Anyway, so that I could obtain all the blood and hearts I needed to conduct my experiments. In order to do that, I need a pawn. I hired assassins for the role, but I sought someone more efficient, and that was when a letter from my supporter arrived. The supporter informed me of an existence that even Cyan Brofes wasn't aware of. He was from the Proust family, renowned for their strength and dedicated to guarding the royal family. It seemed he was the strongest among them, a true monster who was born to kill. The child named Lucas Proust. I saw an opportunity when he left home with his younger sister. I offered salvation while keeping them in captivity. I brainwashed him thoroughly, planning to use him until he died from the curse. Cyan Brofes, you're such a fool. The life forms I created are the only ones worthy of being the new human race. I mean, like, Capucine's just is a psycho, don't get me wrong, but being able to change just 1% so you could be like, yeah, no, I want to change my hair, or like, that's the plastic surgery effect. You just got a little plastic surgery. Yeah. But now, here's the thing. That's just changing your looks. But what would be nice is to be able to take this research and be like, okay, wait. So if you could change just 1% to change a person's features, could you take that 1% instead and be like, okay, it's the same person, but let's be able to give them back their memories. Even if it was like, okay, well, their memories, their emotions. So you have your memories and you have your emotions, they're base. But then you have treatments where you have like, okay, you have to come back for like a couple of treatments once a month for so many months or whatever, where we put, okay, a little bit and a little bit and a little bit. And it's like, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes you go when you're going to get something done, you don't go like one and done. Sometimes you have to do like multiple treatments. Okay, we're gonna do this now, and then we're come back in a month, and then we're gonna do that, and you do it over a period of time. Like, maybe you could do that with emotions, Like, okay, listen, we're gonna you just stay with your family, whatever, your emotions will come back. We'll put them back in. They might not be as intense when you first wake up, but it's kind of like any kind of surgery that you have. There's a healing process. You don't just like get up and run. Your body has to heal. So you just kind of have to, the healing process is getting treatments to like, boop, amp up your emotions back to where they were. Unless you're like, please don't put the rage back in me. Could you keep that one out? Yeah, okay, Yeah, just saying. Anyway, Capucine spoke to us about a man from the past. A man who held a grudge towards Cyan. A man who saw beauty in genes and worked to bring life only to the genes he adored. Those 2 points were the only things that moved Capucine. He had no interest in fighting the curse whatsoever. Capucine, too. His true name is Orty. He has been infatuated with genes since his time working as a researcher at the Institute. After being expelled for his inhumane experiments, he hid among the Society of Exorcists. By making use of prohibited reliver technology that can change one's appearance, he remained the minister of the society. You spoke for a long time, but ultimately you're saying you only ever cared about glory and satisfying your own desires. Meaning the ritual you ordered Lucas to do after killing the relivers was... Yes, it was a charade to convince Lucas and the followers of the importance of it. To be honest, I only needed blood for my gene modification experiments, but my supporter is strangely adamant about obtaining the hearts and hiding the bodies. Who is your supporter? Yeah, this is interesting. Who is your supporter? Who knows? We've been communicating through letters that were delivered to me by my subordinates. Perhaps that person was someone I knew from my time at the Institute. This is interesting. Because, like, your first thought is, like, it's not Cyan. Well, I mean, you'd think it wouldn't be. But you're like, is it David? But it can't be because, like... Is it Jean? That could be. Because, like, Jean-Camille would have... Well, they didn't work at the Institute, though. Capucine's supporter sounds like someone who works at the Institute. But Camille would have had access to be able to do a lot of the things. You know what I mean? Interesting. We probably... I don't know if that's just a throwaway person or if we're going to find out, like it's going to tie back. You know what I mean? Anyway. Perhaps? You see, changing a clone's appearance means the only memory that's downloaded won't match the body's data exactly. So part of my memory is missing. Which is why he... Or was it a she? I don't even remember their gender. I simply can't recall their face or name. He spoke as if trying to recall the memory of an old friend. Unlike Lucas, who was brainwashed, this person knew that his actions were evil, yet showed no remorse about it. And now, Lucas and I both felt an ominous unease. Okay, that's a negative to, like, having 1%, is you're gonna forget certain things. But here's the thing, we all forget shit as we get older anyway, so, like, really just depends what you forget, I guess. You're like, forgot my address. Oh, well, I can relearn that. I forgot your husband or wife. That's a pretty big thing to forget, you know? Lucas suddenly began to speak as if to shake off the feeling. So what does your selfish past have anything to do with Nadia? What does your selfish past have to do with Nadia? Okay. If you're trying to buy time, it's no... I took in Nadia Proust in an effort to hold you hostage. She was born a Proust, but unlike those from the family, she was born with a terminal weakness that made her unique. Lucas's shoulders twitched. I was very interested in her unique circumstances, so I took some of her blood to investigate. I found out she had a rare genetic disorder. Even more surprisingly, the genes causing her disorder were absolutely beautiful beyond belief, unlike anything I've seen before. Okay, so, now he's, oh god, look at him blushing awkward. Oh no. Alright, so his obsession, so the child obsession is his, with her genes. That's a little less creepy. It's still weird, but it is a little less creepy than it could have been. Like a romantic obsession. That would have been gross. But this being obsessed with her genes is like, I mean, he's just a weird-ass fucking nerd. It's a little weird that he's almost getting off to genes, but like, you know, and not like the pants kind of genes. I mean, your DNA genes, you know? That's a little strange, but okay. And now you're obsessed with Nadia's genes, and she's that's fucking weird, but it could be worse, is what I'm saying. So, okay. Yes, it was love at first sight. I'm madly in love with the genes that make up her body. Okay, that's a little fucking weird. But, again, it's like the people who were like, you're in love with your car. I mean, I love my car, but I'm not in love with my car. You know what I mean? Like this is weird. He's got a weird fetish. Okay. But it's her DNA, it's her genes that he's into. Okay. All right. It's fucking weird. But it could have been more disturbing. You know what I mean? What? The ominous feeling finally manifested in its worst possible form because of Capucine. Love? Not for Nadia, but he fell in love with the genes that were eating away at her body. They're like, if he was in love with Nadia, I'd be fucking disturbed. But he's in love with her genes, which is just somehow a different level of weird and creepy. Weird and creepy, but a different level. The moment we realized what he was saying... Despicable! Lucas covered his mouth with his hand. I've been looking at her for the past 8 years in such an insane way. Again, it could be worse. You knew she had this genetic disorder, but you did nothing to save her. Just like you didn't save me. I won't let some lowlife like you have a single strand of Nadia's hair. I could say the exact same thing to you. I'm being denounced by some killer who murders relivers with so much joy. Or are you going to shift blame to the brainwashing rather than yourself? I mean, I'm pretty sure most of it was the brainwashing. A majority of it was the brainwashing. So, like, you know. No, you're no different from me. Now, he's a little bit different. You might have murdered relivers, but he's wants to fuck your sister's genes. Not your sister. He just takes out her genetic sequence and dry humps the machine when he's looking at her DNA sequence, and that's fucking weird. I really hope he doesn't do that, because, like, man, why everybody gotta be hot and insane in this? This might be a level of insanity I don't know if I can deal with. Like, I mean, you're obsessed with the Listen, anybody could have had these genes. Lucas could have had like a 20-year-old brother, and Capucine would still be like, I'm in love with his genes. And it'd be like, that's fucking bizarre. It doesn't matter who had these, it's the gene. So it just makes it a little weird that it's Lucas's 12-year-old sister. But again, it's not, oh, your sister's hot. He's not like a pedophile. You know what I mean? So like, you just have a really, 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 really niche kink over here, okay? Like, really? Did I accentuate really enough? I feel like you need to have, like, an exponential amount of those in there. You're irredeemable scum and a true demon for killing so many relivers for your own sake. You don't have the right to die of old age. Judgment and punishment should be delivered immediately. I won't let you drag Spacey and Nadia into your path toward destruction. He repeats his first demand with murderous intent. I will say it once more. This is my final warning. Return our younger sister Nadia to us at once, Capucine. It's very hard to be angry in Lucas's voice. You're scum just like me, so I'll not hesitate to turn you into a lump of meat. The intimidation emanating from the strongest man in the country could not be matched. He would keep his word and strike him into the ground if Capucine dared to refuse. My, what a short-tempered brother you are. Also because, here's the thing. You brainwashed him into stabbing the fuck out of relivers, and now he knows you're a reliver, so, like, you kidnapping his sister made him mad. You holding his sister prisoner, making him mad. You brainwashing him makes him mad. You being obsessed with his sister's genes and madly in love with them is really making him disturbed and mad. You being a reliver is just a little cherry on this I'ma fuck you up cake, so he gonna fuck you up. If you were going to say something, I was hoping for words of blessing. And then again, I suppose it can't be helped. I should accept this as a trial of love. Blessing for what? Are you gonna... Okay, this is getting weirder now. Capucine didn't seem intimidated by Lucas's words and showed no sign of running. He walked toward a doll leaning against the bed and rubbed its cheek. Suddenly, the doll's pale skin molded to Capucine's caress with his fingers. I thought it was some kind of doll made of porcelain, but oh god! The doll's skin was strangely supple, and in a few seconds, the doll's cheek returned to its former curve. It was as if, oh no, the doll had flesh like a normal human's. Oh, these are his weird experiments! Oh god! We've known each other for a long time, but I have finally met the one destined for me. And so I must bid you farewell. Don't worry, the genes you so dearly took care of are inside her forever. My mouth went dry in an instant. My heartbeat quickened and a sense of unknowable fear took over. The doll slowly fell onto its side after Capucine moved his hand away. Suddenly, from the doll's hands and feet, coagulated blood splattered upon the floor. The pressure in the room changed to silence. Oh god, what did he do? We looked around at the other dolls in the room. Upon careful inspection, we noticed that their arms and legs didn't exactly match each doll's body. It was as if they were created using parts from separate human bodies. Oh god! This is some Frankenstein-level shit! Lucas, ever since I fell in love with Nadia's genes that day, I simply couldn't hold back from making her genes my own. So I continued to use you to do my bidding, waiting for the day you'd finally die. And he was always taking blood from her, and I told you he was doing experiments. I didn't know they were like this, though! I'm not surprised, but also I'm horrified. I'm very tense, my whole body. Oh god! Footsteps echoed from the spiral staircase. I thought your most recent seizure would kill you, but it seems I acted prematurely. I heard dragging. I looked in the direction of the sound to discover a large thing covered with a cloth. That thing was walking slowly down the stairs as if it was going to fall down. It finally arrived next to Capucine. Now then, my beautiful bride. Look at him blushing! Oh, fucking freak! Oh, God! Hey, listen. Camilla's a psycho, and I want to separate him from Jean so we can keep poor precious Jean, okay? But, like, Capucine is just, like, he's nice to look at, but he is a psycho. Like, I love to hate him. I love this man for being just the worst. He is a great villain. Like, oh god, you're so fucked up. Everything in this game is so fucked up. I love it so much. I did not think I was going to have this much fun with trauma, but yet here we are, having a great time. I don't know what this says about me. I dressed you to perfection, so why don't you show yourself to your dear brother? Oh, this is fucked up. Capucine pulled off the covering. Oh, the shadow is disturbing. From beneath appeared a doll-like being. Oh, she's going to get more clear. Oh, does she have, like, wings and things? And, oh god, she's going to be a freak of nature. Oh no. It had unnatural white skin and wore a dress and veil, dyed in red. From one of its elbows, bulging veins wrapped around its arm and widened to become an unrecognizable hand. You can kind of just see the shadow thing, and it's got wings and a claw, and oh god. I noticed then that the dress was adorned with a garland of skulls and roses. And the hair under the veil was the same color as the person next to me, whose eyes were wide open. Oh, dear God. Oh, dear God! Hey, she looks like a grown-ass adult now, so at least she's not 12, but like, what the fuck? Okay, here's the thing. So, on one hand, okay, Capucine's obsessed with her genes, not her as a child. So, okay, good for you, I guess. That's, okay. It's a different level of disturbing, but again, it's I'll take it. You're fucking weird, but at least you're not like, oh, the sexy 12-year. You know what I mean? Like, that's creepy. Ugh, God, no. No, wrong. Okay. And then you're like my bride. Oh, okay, but you genetically modified her so she looks like an adult now. Okay. All right. Okay. You made her a fucking weird monster, and you're like, oh, look at her, isn't she beautiful? Okay, now you've literally gone down the rabbit hole of crazy. You are insane, but there's all sorts of wrong, demented, insane, and crazy wrapped up in fucking Capucine, okay? This man is just all the insanity. All the types just rolled into one. But at least we can say he made Nadia an adult and was like, whoa, I have a line. Okay. At least he didn't cross that line, I guess. Everything else here is so horrifying. That thing, it was a creature over 2 meters tall that was only part human. I mean, this is so fucking wrong. Oh my god. Look at him. I think what makes this less traumatizing is how fucking absurd this is. Isn't she beautiful? I've created a new breed of human using Nadia as its core. Her body's composed of genes and human parts from over 20 different women. In return, her body did grow larger than I expected, but her outer appearance doesn't matter to me. Don't you agree, my dear genetic bride, Nadia? The moment he looked into the eyes of his sister, who was turned into a horrifying bride, I almost heard the sound of something crack in Lucas's clear eyes. I heard it too. You didn't almost, you did. And then it's just Lucas screaming. Ah! With a scream, he fell into despair. This is the perfect place to end this. Oh dear God. Holy shit. Ah! I love this fucking game. The absurdity and the it's... Oh my god. Good times. Jesus. So, I will see you guys. I'm sorry, I just accidentally bumped my microphone, so sorry for that grating noise in your ear. But anyway, woo! Guys, I need a break from this for like a hot minute. Oh, dear Lord. I need a drink. I need lunch is what I need, to be fair, but I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.